Delicious in Dungeon is an anime that's quickly captured the hearts of anime fans all over the world, with its unique blend of fantasy adventure with delicious culinary delight. At its core, Delicious in Dungeon combines two different elements: dungeon diving and monster cuisine. The plot follows a group of adventurers who, after a disastrous encounter with a red dragon, find themselves without supplies and one less adventurer, Fallon, the main character's sister, who ended up sacrificing herself in order to ensure the rest of their safety, using a teleportation spell to transport them out of the immediate danger. So the group decide they have to rescue her. To continue their quest, they decide to cook and eat the monsters they encounter, since they don't have the luxury of taking on odd jobs to save up money, and they need to rescue Fallon from the red dragon's belly before it digests her. In my personal observation of this anime, I felt as if many elements of Dungeon Meshi seem to be more inspired by Western fantasy. I mean, like the character design, how the monsters behave. A lot of their dialogues are also similar to Western characters. The dungeons are not just obstacles, but are filled with unique creatures, magical elements, and intricate environment. There's a proper ecosystem in this place. Clearly, the mangaka has poured a lot of time and energy into conjuring these creatures with the help of old folklore and D&D. This depth allows viewers to get lost in the world alongside the characters and their quirky personalities. One of the biggest focuses is on food, of course, obviously. The biggest reason why I clicked on it, and also why everyone else told me to click on it. The dishes are often visually appealing and are prepped after the group has defeated monsters that they encounter. A victory meal of some sorts, you could say. Delicious meals with in-depth ingredient list and preparation instructions. The comedic interactions between characters create some of the best heartfelt moments, but the series doesn't shy away from exploring deeper themes of friendship, exploring fear, and the realm of dark magic. The anime's art style has a minimal but whimsical tone, and like I said, the characters feel more Western to me. The character designs kind of remind me of a Western anime art style, or some talented artist from the West making an OC of their Dungeon Dragon character. The food is depicted in the most mouth-watering and savory detail. Like, why does anime food look so darn good? I feel like I can smell it through my screen. The language used by everyone in this fantasy world doesn't center around humans. Like, humans are called tall men, and I also found myself automatically assuming certain characters were human too, which they weren't, like Chilchuk, who is a half-foot. The immense amount of detail and explanation behind each monster captivated me from the start. Treasure monster to live armor and the little creatures that thrive in this dungeon even coexist with one another. Each episode explores a new set of monsters and the various ways Senshi and Laios, but mainly Senshi, prepares them. I wouldn't be surprised if people started making their own versions of these monster dishes with chicken or other kinds of meat, since the manga and anime give clear instructions on how to make them. It got me interested in trying to make my own type of sorbet. This anime, it gives off the same vibes as when I watch sports anime. Like, when I watch sports anime, I want to play sports. And when I watch anime where they obsess over cooking monsters, I want to cook. Each member of this adventuring party has a distinct personality and skill set, contributing to their group's dynamic. Marcel is the mage, Senshi is the cook, Laios is their tank, Chilchuk is their rogue, and I know that another character joins their party, Izutsumi, but I'm not really mentioning her that much since she joins in a lot later, and I don't have a proper opinion of her right now. She's just a cat girl. I like cats, but I don't know about her right now. Their interactions are filled with humor, making them more relatable and easy to cheer on, especially Laios. Laios is freakishly into monsters, an expert who knows everything that there is to know about them, with the exception of monsters that he hasn't read up on or hasn't come across. But the vast amount of knowledge he has helped his group countless times when combating against strange monsters, unknown to most adventurers. I will admit, I'm quite envious of Laios' expertise, but not so much of his lack of social skills and awareness at times. He has the most horrible timing to blurt out things, you know? He may be blunt and socially awkward and clueless at times, but he doesn't intend on causing harm. He radiates golden retriever energy. He cares about his party members and does his best to help them whenever possible. He helps Marcel when she's having a nightmare. The only time he doesn't accommodate is when it comes to monster food. He wants everyone to try them. Despite his aloof appearance, he's actually very sharp and can quickly formulate strategies when battling against foes with unique abilities and little openings. Though sometimes he's a bit too reckless, like when he stabs the red dragon's weak spot at the cost of his leg. He's all act first, think later. Marcel specializes in dark magic and is childhood ? I think she's 50 years old, so I don't know if Fallon counts as childhood friend. Well, childhood friends with Fallon, who she attended magic school with. She's such a goofball in her own way and is heavily against eating monsters in each episode, but gives in each time due to hunger and peer pressure. She draws a line at demi-humans though. No way, Jose. Right. Other than being constantly done with Laios, we get to see insecure sides of Marcel here and there. Firstly, in episode 2, we get to see how she hates feeling useless. She wants to contribute to the group whenever possible in any shape or form, even if it means endangering the group at times to prove her worth, and feels extremely guilty for dabbling in dark magic. But she offers her assistance and exposes herself when she needs to in order to resurrect Fallon. She's a character that I've grown to love even more. With each episode, I love her more than before. She's just so real to me. She's a very well-written character, and her personality and flaws are done really well. Her best trait is her loyalty to her friends. After Fallon gets eaten by the red dragon, Marcel wants to go searching for her immediately. Her friendship with Fallon is heartwarming. I love seeing how soft and determined Marcel becomes when it comes to Fallon. I need a Marcel. You need a Marcel. We all need a Marcel. Marcel's nightmare scenario is melancholic, especially since in Frieren, the other anime I'll be discussing in this video, dabbles with the elf character and her life after the members of her old party start dying off, how she continues to live on without them and remembering them. The big difference is that Marcel is actively pouring her soul into her current relationships and wants to enjoy them as much as she can, simply because she is so afraid of how people around her are going to die off, and how she'll be all alone by herself. Frieren, on the other hand, didn't see a point in forging stronger bonds with her party members. Not till a lot later. And clearly, she came to regret that. I can't believe Chilchuk has a wife and kids. Like, I just thought he was a short kid, but they did say he was a half foot and not a tall man, so it's my bad for thinking he was a human teen. Like, I can't believe he is 29 years old, that's crazy. His worst enemy are mimics, since he's been killed by them countless times while opening them. And he tends to be a little bit more open to eating monsters, but draws a line at demi-humans just like Marcel. He can get agitated easily when it comes to fighting, since most of his party members don't seem to understand his reasons for not wanting to rush into a fight. Well, that is till they step on the magical mushroom circle and swap appearances with other races, when Marcel specifically starts understanding how easy it is as a half-foot to get trampled and tossed around during a battle, simply due to their height. It was fun witnessing Chilchuk encounter a mimic in the locked dungeon room and challenging it and escaping from the room, smashing the mimic with the room's cell door. And of course, having Senshi later prepare it as their meal. Senshi starts off as a very mysterious dwarf that Laios' party encounters early on in their adventures. Like Laios, he is interested in consuming monsters and is an exceptional cook when it comes to monster cuisine. If he hadn't tagged along, the group would have either starved or consumed the most bland monster meals ever, since Laios was following instructions provided in the adventurer's guide he had on hand. He didn't have any actual experience cooking monsters like Senshi did. Senshi puts a lot of care in his craft, and it makes sense why he's gotten really good at it, since he had been in that dungeon for 10 years, surviving after the rest of the dwarves that he was with got killed. Aside from his skill in cuisine, he doesn't really take care of his weapons and walks into traps all the time. He can be hard-headed and doesn't really appreciate bad table manners, and scolds Izutsumi for being a slob all the time. Delicious in Dungeon's ability to blend humor with heartfelt moments, coupled with its unique cuisine storytelling approach, is really a refreshing watch. It's all fun and games till the tone starts shifting a tad bit dark here and there. I mean, not too dark, but this is a fantasy show where the main character's sister gets gobbled up by a red dragon, and the whole point is to go into the dungeon to try and find the red dragon and get Fallon out before she gets digested, right? And because they're on a time limit, I knew that there was something bound to go wrong. When Laios delivers the final blow to the dragon at the cost of his leg, I was really hoping that they would be able to find Fallon in the stomach. But unfortunately, to my shock and horror, she wasn't in the pouch at all. The tone shift dark so quickly, and it was so unexpected because throughout the whole anime, episode by episode, they were able to trample over so many monsters, and it was a cozy comfort anime. It was just a casual anime to watch while you were eating or something. I didn't expect it to go sour not so quickly, but I didn't expect it to go sour. Fallon was unfortunately found in the pouch, where the dragon would reserve the remains of whatever it's consumed for the fuel for its fire. She was gone. We hadn't interacted with Fallon, but seeing everyone else so passionate about saving Fallon made me want to cheer on her rescue as well. So it was so bitter knowing that she was gone. They find her skull, right? It's heartbreaking to see Laios picking up his sister's skull, scattered in with the other creatures that were consumed by the red dragon. At this point in the story, Marcel exposes to the group her expertise in the dark arts, and she tries to convince everybody to put together Fallon's bones to resurrect. They're conflicted, sad, just completely shocked at how late they were. They decide, no matter what the cost, they want Fallon back. And so with Marcel's dark magic, they're able to bring Fallon back. It's all fine and dandy for now. Nothing crazy's happening till the Mad Mage gets involved. The Mad Mage and dark magic are a reminder in this show of the tough battles and challenges ahead for our heroes, and how gory and dark this fantasy setting has always been. It's never been in a chill setting. It's always been in a dark, grim setting. It's just we've been focusing on the fun cooking stuff, right? Thistle, the Mad Mage, him and his grimoire cause more trouble for our heroes, especially after he turns Fallon into a chimera. Oh my gosh, the last time I had trauma because of chimera was a while ago. Like, he commands Fallon to search for Delgal. I believe Delgal is the kid that he grew up with, who eventually became the king of the kingdom that Thistle has currently turned into the dungeon that the heroes are adventuring in. I think Thistle has attachment issues with the king. He's a little too codependent, I think. That's why he's crazy, okay? Because he is crazy and blind. Because, sir, does this look like your dead red dragon? Now, I know it's because the dragon's soul has been mixed with Fallon's. When they resurrected Fallon, they used the dragon meat and blood, so that ended up mixing her soul with the dragon's. I know, but still, come on, like, Thistle, why are you being crazy? By the last episode, I was itching for more, and I can't wait to see what happens with the Mad Mage in season 2. Like, it's going to get good, especially with all the other characters that we've been introduced to. I find a handful of them really interesting. Now, let's shift gears to a story that deals more with longevity, forging bonds, and learning to live in the present with those around you and making the most of it. I'm talking, of course, about Frieren. Frieren Beyond Journey's End focuses on the journey of a hero after the grand adventure. The story picks up after Frieren's group defeats the Monster King, and the elven mage Frieren reflects on her past and explores the passage of time. This unique premise allows the anime to explore themes such as change and the fleeting nature of humans. The anime focuses on each character's growth and personality development. Frieren is a character with a complex and introspective personality herself. Elves live such long lives compared to the short lifespan of humans, so she doesn't go about life regarding their time and just does things at her slow pace. The show delves into her regrets, her evolving relationships, and her journey towards understanding the significance of her past actions and further understanding humans in the present. The animation is absolutely beautiful, with various bright shots of landscapes. The vibrant visuals make the world feel alive and engaging, but they also make the characters feel so small and tiny. Living forever, it makes you observe changes, right? And the changes to everything around you, right? Living forever, I can't imagine that. I can't even remember half the things that I did yesterday, so I can't imagine losing hundreds of years of memories, especially since they didn't have technology. But back to what I was saying about Frieren. She experiences all of these things, right? The change in landscape, towns, and societies. Frieren even mentions how she doesn't even bother keeping up with the magical mage association because of how frequently things change over a short span of time. Short for her, but decades for humans. She has to make memories to keep them forever, since they don't have technology, like phones and cameras, right, to capture the moments to keep forever. While watching this anime, I became super grateful for the tech that we have now. My memory isn't the sharpest, like I said, so it's nice to be able to quickly take photos or record short snippets of videos of birthdays, family parties, weddings that I'm going to be attending soon, and other special moments to look back on. Throughout the anime, we get flashbacks of Frieren's adventures with her previous group and how she didn't participate in a lot of activities with them that she later came to regret, like not going with her group to see the sunrise, with Himmel and the others. So when Fern shows interest, she goes with her even if it means waking up super early. She's not going to make the same mistake again. She will pour in more effort into making memories with those that are still alive and well around her. She's going to put an effort to get to know her human companions more, so that she can have more memories to look back on. Frieren, a 1,000-year-old elf who still has so much more to learn. She's finally open to exploring and deepening bonds with humans, attempting to better understand those around her, especially after Himmel's death. So many memories and moments that she's archived in her mind of him, that she's slowly revisiting in the present, and finally understanding certain things that Himmel did or said to her. Also, she mainly didn't make stronger bonds with humans is probably because she was more motivated to get rid and kill the Demon King, who was the reason why her village was destroyed. She wanted revenge, and she lived for that. So now that she's completed it, she's got a new goal: to better understand humans. It's bittersweet, and I found myself relating to not the revenge and the Demon King part, but to wanting to better understand people and her reflecting on her past. Not appreciating the bonds that I had when I was little, but I've learned from that experience and promised to cherish friendships like never before. And so far, I've kept that promise to myself. Frieren is so silly and immature, a huge snacker, grimoire collector. She loves collecting all sorts of spells, and as a result is always getting herself stuck in mimics. Fern scares the shit out of her sometimes, and she does her best to keep the grumpy princess happy. She's not entirely as socially awkward as I thought she would be, but it's funny to see her knock out Himmel with a kiss that she blew at him. Fern's a stubborn brat who cares deeply about Frieren and scolds her for various reasons. The grumpy teen who isn't the best at communicating with Stark. She's sweet when she wants to be and is a great student. She continues looking for magic only because it makes Frieren happy, and in the past because it made Hyder more confident in Fern's survival after he would be gone. She loves seeing Frieren collect her dungeon junk, probably as long as she doesn't have to carry it. She's used up all the determination she has to become a mage for Hyder while he was alive, so after he passed away, I feel like she's lost on what she should do from there on. She keeps helping Frieren on her journey though, and goes along, and even becomes a first-class mage. She's a fun character and grumpy, so I look forward to seeing her grow more. Also, I love how jealous she gets in episode 24 when Frieren is hugging this character, letting her know that she smells pretty. Stark is a scaredy cat, but rightfully so. Monsters are terrifying, and as someone who used to go downstairs to the kitchen for a midnight snack and would run like Sonic right after turning off all the lights, slamming the door shut tight, I get it. I would freeze up too. That, combined with the amount of pressure that Stark was under as a child from his family, it really impacted his confidence. He butts heads with Fern a lot, and I know a lot of people love to ship them in the fandom, but we'll see. There's still more room for them to grow. He's slowly becoming more observant of Fern and Frieren's behaviors, habits, and personal preferences. He can be reliant and does his best to learn from his mistakes, and has slowly gotten better at communicating with Fern despite her being a hardhead. And lastly, I want to mention Himmel. Himmel is not alive, but the fact that he was such a kind-hearted hero who did his best to help everyone around him, you really get to see the impact. Inspired so many people to become a hero themselves or an adventurer or do good deeds. He's someone that's reliable, who's kept his promises. A bit self-absorbed here and there, but I think it adds some flavor to his character. And I'm really curious what Frieren and him would chat about when she finally gets to see him in heaven. Frieren to me is a very casual watch that doesn't require a lot of thought behind it. You know, smooth brain mode on with popcorns and snacks. Just watching it casually. I used to watch it before I went to bed every night. It wasn't something that I thought too much about, and I didn't have to pay any attention most of the time because it was mostly about the characters bonding with each other. There wasn't a hardcore plot other than the exam arc. That was kind of out of place, but it worked. Watching Frieren reflect on her past, her actions, the things that she said, how she interacted with people, it really resonated with me because I do be overthinking sometimes, right? Watching her transition from someone who used to dissociate from the world around her to slowly actively participating was very sweet. Her old interactions with Himmel always left a bittersweet aftertaste in my mouth because that man loved her and she just never picked up on it. Both were really enjoyable, but I find myself leaning a bit more towards Delicious and Dungeon just because food was amazing, but it had something amazing brewing towards the end with the Mad Mage, and I can't help but love that stimulation I get from, ooh, juicy plot, you know? I love the world building, I love the monsters, I love the recipes, I love that there was a lot more thought put into the ecosystem in it. It's nerdy, it's a little nerdy, you know? I like it. And like I said, with the introduction of the Mad Mage, things get really juicy, so I want to know more. Frieren, on the other hand, reminded me a lot of animes like Mushishi or Natsume Yujincho, where the main plot is on the back burner, and it's more about the interactions that the characters have with other new characters and their personality traits and seeing them emotionally grow. These are simple stories with fun characters that get you invested in their lifestyle and personalities, and they don't really have a stimulating plotline, but I thoroughly enjoyed it. But comment down your thoughts, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye-bye.